Good morning, friends. How are we today? I'm doing okay for a Monday morning. It's so rude how it constantly keeps coming around. Um, I hope all of you who are moms in any way whatsoever, a pet mom, um, a baby mom, a mom who birthed her own baby, a mom who adopted her baby, a mom who maybe her baby didn't make it to Earth, or a mom whose baby made it to Earth and maybe didn't make it too long. All of you are moms, all of us are moms, and I wish you a very happy Mother's Day. Um, I hope you enjoyed it. So, over the weekend, I finished reading How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwong. I really liked this. I was a little confused. I think I told you this in my last video. I was a little bit confused at the beginning because for some reason I thought it was a comedy. I knew it was a romance, but I also thought it was a comedy. And I'm not sure why I thought that. Um, Even the first sentence, which I read to you the last time, but I'll read it again if you didn't see that video. It said, all things considered, her little sister's funeral is a pretty boring affair. That could be taken as a comedy, right? Like, I'm kind of like, it's a funeral. I mean, boring. It's a funeral. Um, so it took me a little, like, I kept reading and I got past chapter 1 and I'm like, this isn't funny. Like, I'm really confused because it wasn't funny. And then I fell into it and it was better. Basically what it is there is a girl and a boy, obviously, usually are in a romance. Hi, Maxwell, man. I see you, Dale. I see you. Hi, baby. You go get some lovin's? Yeah. Yeah, your friends want to see you. You so, oh, he's purring. Come here, baby. So there's a boy and a girl. They're both in high school. And the funeral for her little sister is because her little sister unalived herself by throwing herself in front of a car that just happened to be a classmate's car. The boy in the story, Grant. So the parents hated him, obviously, even though it wasn't his fault because she jumped in front of the car. And then it goes to when they're adults, and she is an author whose book has been picked up for to be made into a TV show, and he is one of the screenwriters on the show, and they fall in love because it is a romance. So yeah, it's how they get through their feelings, how they get through um, forgiving him, but also him forgiving himself. He has panic attacks, he has depression, he has like all of this stuff that you would expect. He killed somebody at a very vulnerable age. Um, so and how her family has to forgive him as well. And then the complicated relationship that she has with her Chinese American family who moved here before they had children. And yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I'm really glad I read it. So thank you, Reese Witherspoon, for um, pointing me in this direction. Probably not something I would have picked up because I'm not really a big romancy kind of a girl. I like romance, but I like romance to be kind of secondary to the story. I don't like the romance to be the whole story. Does that make sense? Um, I just find it to be very like boring and repetitive and stuff like that. So, anyhow, How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwong. If you get a chance, pick it up. Now, I have to go let in my pain in the ass dogs. So, excuse me, I'll be right back. I'm back. The dogs are in, and they are not barking at 6:38 outside. I'm a great neighbor. Um, actually, that's not true. My neighbors are fabulous, and all of my neighbors have dogs, and nobody has ever once complained about Ellie and Gianna. It's just that their barks are so, like, low, and it carries, and I just don't want to be that neighbor. So, they are now in. They're walking around the house, whatever. So after I finished How to End a Love Story, I came across this book. Now, this is a movie. It is called Still Alice by Lisa Genova. This is the book. Okay. And it was a movie, and Julianne Moore obviously played the lead character. I have always loved this movie. If you haven't seen it, she is a linguist professor, and her husband is a professor. They're both working out of Harvard University. Very smart people. They have 3 children, a daughter, a son, and a daughter. So the girls are the bookends. They're the oldest and the youngest. The son is going to school to be a doctor, and the oldest daughter is also a linguist professor, I believe. That's what the book said anyway. But not in the movie. I don't know what she was in the movie. I don't know if it ever was talked about. But their youngest daughter wants to be an actress. So the youngest daughter and the mother really don't get along very well. The dad is very supportive. He's paying for her acting classes while she's out in LA. But the mom just doesn't agree with it. She thinks she's not living up to her potential. The mom then ends up finding out that she has early onset Alzheimer's. Now, the movie itself is so good. I've watched it many, many times. Many times. However, I always felt that it was just very, like, surface level. It never dug into those deep feelings. And because a lot of this is taking place in her head, it's hard for the movie to really express that. You know what I mean? Like, when something's happening in somebody's head in a movie, it's hard to get that out on film for people to see. So I always wished that it could have been better. More in depth, more feeling to it. It's a beautiful story. Absolutely beautiful story. I do suggest you watch it. However, when I found out that it was a book, I had to get it and read it. And so far, I'm not too far in because I started it yesterday. She still has not been diagnosed yet, but she's going to the doctors to get answers. I am loving the book so far. I am really loving the book so far, because in the book, I can get into her head. I can feel her confusion. I can feel her anger. I can feel the feelings that she is feeling because she can't remember things. But I told you I was coming in at 5, or I told you I was coming in at 8, and the daughter saying, "Nope, you told me you were flying in at whatever. It's really good. And at the beginning, if you didn't see the movie and you didn't realize that she's having some confusing thoughts and whatnot, it's just really good. It's really good. It's like no big deal. You know what I mean? Like she did. She showed up at her youngest daughter's apartment in LA when she was on a work conference. And her daughter's like, "What are you doing here? It's 5 o'clock." And she's like, "I told you I was coming in at 5." And she said, "No, you told me you were coming in at 8." At another point, she's supposed to be going to Chicago, and she runs into some difficulties at work. Um, some of it has to do with her forgetting things. Some of it has to do with her having a list on her, like a to-do list, and she can't remember what one of the items is. She's like, "What does that mean?" So she goes home, and her husband's like, "What are you doing here? I thought you were supposed to be in Chicago." And she's like, "I forgot." It's really good, and I can't wait to get further into it to see how the author keeps progressing her disease and her forgetfulness and all of that. Like I said, the movie was good. I do suggest that you watch it if you like that kind of stuff. It's just like I said, it's very surface level because a lot of it is taking place in her head, and movies don't have a good way of getting that information across. I hope that all made sense. So anyway, today is Monday. It's May 14th, and it's yet another cloudy day here in Rhode Island. Yay! I'm so freaking sick of clouds and rain. I read the Farmer's Almanac has predicted a hotter than average um, summer and a wet summer. So that means humid and uncomfortable. And we had a summer like this a few years ago. And by few, it could have been 10 to 12 years ago. But I remember in July sitting on my couch in jeans and a sweatshirt and covered up with a blanket because I was freezing. And I told my husband, I go, tomorrow is August 1st, excuse me. Tomorrow's August 1st. You watch, we're going to wake up and it's going to be humid as hell. And guess what? It was. And for the whole month of August, it was humid as hell. It was great. So, anywho, I think that's all I wanted to tell you about today. So that's it. I'm going to get going. It is still early, so I could probably read for a little bit, maybe. I forgot to tell you, I think I told you that I listened to an audiobook. No. I listened to an audiobook. It was called Midnight Mass, and it was by, hold on, looking on, F. Paul Wilson. It was an audiobook. It was good. It was about a priest and a nun, some nuns, and there is a vampire apocalypse, and as always, the vampires take over and blah blah blah, and it's how they fight the vampires, how they use God to fight the vampires, and the priest ends up being bit by a vampire, so how he deals with that. It was alright. It was a good book to listen to. I listen to it in the morning when I am getting ready for work, or if I'm doing something around the house and I can't focus on a book, I'll listen to it. I mostly prefer biographies and autobiographies, stuff like that. I can't get into an audiobook the same way I do when I'm reading it. So if it's something I really want to get into, I would prefer to read it. Um, sometimes those aha moments, the moments that make your jaw drop and you go, oh, those don't hit the same way in an audiobook for me. So it's fine. But I finished reading that, and now I am listening to The Diary of Anne Frank. The audio version of it is read by Selma Blair, and I'm enjoying it. I've read it in the past, like a long time ago. I think I was I in my teens? My teens or young 20s, and I read it and I enjoyed it immensely. So when I found it on Audible, I was like, maybe I'll listen to it. So I'm listening to it now. It's really good. It's really good. It's really sad, but it's also really, really good. The impact that this young Jewish girl that lived during World War II had on the world, because so many people have read this story. I would love to go and see the annex where they lived, and I would love to do that. Anyway, all right, I'm going to get going. I got some stuff I got to get done, and I will chat with you guys later, maybe after I've made some progress on Still Alice. I really think that this is going to be a really quick read. It's not a very long read, and I'm just falling into it, and I'm anxious to see how well the movie how the movie how the I'd like to see how well the movie was done compared to the book, because we all know books are better. Books are always better. You can always get in the person's head. You know what they're feeling because they're telling you what they're feeling. And in a movie, it doesn't always come across that way. So I'm really enjoying it. I've fallen into it already, and I think it's going to be pretty good. Okay, my guys. Okay, my friends, I will see you very soon. I hope you have a wonderful day. Again, if you celebrated yesterday, happy Mother's Day. And I will chat with you soon.